Hi, welcome back. It's time for us to get into the communities,
Yes.
right? And do some interesting community stories. Now, you know, every day we are bringing you different angles, shining the light on challenges, problems, and so on and so forth. Today we're going to bring you a kind of a feel-good story, right? We've been joined on this set this morning by our colleague, Caleb Kuda. And we haven't seen him in a minute, so it's good to have him here. Caleb, good morning.
Let me follow Daniel and say good morning, good morning, Coco.
Good morning, Caleb.
Mischief in corner. So
Yeah.
this morning,
Yes.
the story we want to look at, I found it very fascinating.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers what exactly we're going to be seeing in this video.
It's a really fascinating story. You know, very often people reach out to you as a journalist. They see you've been to this community, you've done that story, and they say, "Come to my place. The roads are bad." And sometimes you sit there and you're like, "Look, let me send you pictures of my roads."
Yeah, your own road.
And you
right?
will not worry me at all because you know you change your tire. I have changed my crankshaft, my shock absorbers, and things. But in Larteh, what we see is that the indigenes, that is people who are from the community, who either have their businesses in the capital or live in the diaspora, plus the community members, the residents themselves, they've all come together in a space of 8 months, raised 400,000 Ghana cedis to fix their, not 40,000, not 4,000, not 40, but 400,000 Ghana cedis to fix the inner roads. And you know, it's not only about the money. It was a communal spirit where they come together, they're cleaning, they're scrubbing.
Wow.
And even for the road they are fixing, they are using the locals to get the road done.
Wow.
So the contractor who is supervising the work, he is an indigene. Okay. And they are using manpower. So they have lightweight equipment they are using to do the road.
So it gives them some employment.
Exactly, and even for the locals, they get paid. And then there was one supervisor who is not an indigene or a native. They found place for him. He's living there. They give them food and everything so they can get the work done.
Wow.
This was a very beautiful story. So that, I mean, yes, government has a responsibility of fixing our roads and everything, but there's the other part that we can also contribute to. I mean, if you're going, I'm told you're from Larteh.
I am from Larteh.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
I thought you were more a breed.
And I want to just
I hear you say, yo, wake up.
Yeah, no, I just want to say to
proper.
my people, until you can
To your people,
yeah.
hey.
Yeah, no, no, so, yeah.
Until you can
Until you can
So did you contribute
the
to
response,
Thank you.
No, the
Ask him.
response.
No, did
you contribute to the 400K?
The accurate response is me, your Bale.
Me your Bale.
Leo Bale.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love
Leo
the sound
Bale.
of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
but
that sounds
please,
like a very spiritual
back to the
language.
question at
Yeah.
hand, though. They said people who hail from there
Yes.
came together
Yes.
and came up with a pot of 400,000 Ghana cedis.
400,000 Ghana
You want to know how much of my money is in that 400,000?
We would love to know.
The way it's going.
So what happened was, Omani Mensa Brosu,
Yes.
who apparently is
Chairman.
behind all of this.
Why are you bringing your money into this?
No,
it was
because,
a simple question.
because you see, Omani and I work here, right? He's one of my managers here, and Omani deliberately left me out of it, not knowing that he had actually gone and put some money in
Uncle,
on my
how
behalf.
often do you go to your hometown?
The last time I was there was a few months ago.
So
And
Omani,
did you know about
Omani gave your contribution,
Yeah, he gave my contribution.
but your name isn't on the list.
No, because he did it through him.
Okay, but the reality is that
What's
I
your,
don't
what's your
see
issue,
it.
right? You don't see
I don't
it.
have an
understand
issue
it.
at all.
But have you seen the list?
no, but if you watch
Is
this,
your name on the list?
Have you seen the list?
I have seen the list. I didn't see you.
If his name was on the
I
list,
didn't see
we
you.
what's
would
the
all
issue
know.
here? Is that what, are we talking
the
about
issue
me
here is
and my
that-
contribution?
The issue here is that when you talk about the major roads leading to Larteh,
Yeah.
they are in a very terrible state. Okay, long before fuel prices went up
Yeah.
and all, you know, my off days I just drive to a brig
Yeah,
and cool off
yeah.
and do some stories or
Those days.
just return. Now they're telling you
can't even go and cool off.
and the most I've gone is like you get to the Manfe, the
Yeah.
roundabout,
Roundabout,
and
yeah.
then
Then
you
you
go to
turn,
Koforidua. I've never really been to Larteh.
Okay.
It was my very first
Oh,
time
really?
going to Larteh.
Okay.
And I found the drive up just as refreshing as it is at a brie.
is.
But up Larteh, which is even like more dense
Yes,
for the
it's
vegetative
forested,
cover,
heavily
the
forested and all
road is terrible.
Yeah, because it's just been ignored. That's
The
all it is.
major road,
Yeah.
oh.
It's just been ignored.
Kwaku, but you've been on the set. You've not
Yeah.
said anything about the road to your hometown. Like, yo,
No,
Yo.
you see, here's the thing. There's a lot of selfishness in the country as it is. There's a lot of selfishness. People are very self-centered and self-focused. I'm like, listen, let's deal with other people's problems. They will come to me. That's really what it is.
How magnanimous of you.
Akunedi will not be happy with you.
I'm not
So-
interested in Akunedi. I'm not interested in Akunedi.
But I'm really intrigued by the story, though. I
Yeah.
mean, so these are people who hail from
Yes.
Larteh,
Yes.
don't necessarily live there or
Yes.
reside there,
Yeah.
but they contribute
Yeah.
to their hometown
Massively.
significantly.
Massively. There's one
I
man
think-
who
I
is
think we
even
should-
single-handedly building a university in Larteh.
I think we should take a look at this
Yeah.
story and see for ourselves exactly what happened there when Caleb visited. Let's take a look.
Landscapes, greenery, verdure, and vistas of the Equiapim Mountains make road trips out of Accra a joyride all the time. Anytime you're leaving Accra to the eastern region through Ebri, you always love the breathtaking views you see on the mountainous area. The greenery, lovely. It's refreshing, but what makes it even more lovely is the good quality of that road you always journey through from Ebri through Obosumase to Tutu all the way up. But let me bring you to Larteh, another part of the eastern region that has very lovely landscape, extremely beautiful views, lovely vistas, landscapes, verdure, and whatnot. But what is different here at Larteh is how terrible their roads are. Right from the get-go, if you take the turn heading towards Larteh, the roads have developed gaping potholes for a very, very long time. There are significant potholes in front of the Benkum Senior High School and along the stretch all the way to the ancient township of Larteh itself, you find very precarious potholes. Now, for those of you watching who have used the Kwewu or Amajopa roads before, you know that very often accidents happen even though there are crash barriers on the shoulders on a steep side of the mountain. But that is not the story here in Larteh. Rather, you see deep potholes developing on the stretch. You find trees on the stretch. And according to the residents here, there are absolutely no street lights, which make journeying through the night up the Larteh Mountains an extremely life-threatening situation. Now, the good people of this ancient town called Larteh, tired of complaining to the central and local government to have their roads fixed, they've decided to take their destinies into their own hands. In a space of 8 months, they've contributed 400,000 Ghana cedis and they are fixing their own roads. The engineer in charge of the project is Bernard Williams Amoa. He's at the feeder roads, but he's on this project because he's also a native of Larteh. We'll talk to him to get an idea of the scope of the project. So, first of all, this is impressive.
Yeah. Actually, what happened is that the elders of the town came together because of the nature of our roads. They came together to fix the inner roads by gravel. And then out of that, because we have a school here and then a clinic, they decided to seal this part of the road just to make sure that those within the road corridor will have some comfort in terms of like dust, pollution. So that is why they decided to do this. We're looking at different concepts like fixing the road with equipment, that's equipment base, and then using labor. So we looked at the options and then we looked at the cost involved and realized using labor will be cheaper. And then there's also an advantage of using the locals and then paying them something small for them for their upkeep as well. So that is how we've done this. In actual sense, we finished graveling all the roads within the town. There are some that are left that we'll do later. So that is how far we've come up to this. What we are doing up to like 300 meters. Yeah, that is to the clinic. So we've started with the primary soil.
The work that is ongoing is being supervised by a man called Godwin Tete. He doesn't live in Larteh, nor does he hail from Larteh. The people have rented accommodation for him while he's supervising this project. We want to talk to you, sir. Welcome to Citi Newsroom. How many locals do you have on this project as labor?
We have, right now, as we are saying, I'm having 5 people, including myself, in all, watering and then all the machines. We are having 10 people. Yeah.
And that's just for this 300-meter stretch.
Yes.
This road is leading to a healthcare facility that is in Larteh, and then also to the senior high school that is here. Someone is walking down the road. She happens to be a health worker at the health center over here. So I'm going to have a chat with her. Tell me, are you a native from Larteh, or you're just posted here to work?
I'm posted here to work.
How long have you been here?
It's been a year.
Okay. What's the experience like?
Oh, it's been amazing. It's been great. Like, the people here are very friendly. They welcomed us. And then our stay here is very okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And I see that the people, out of their own volition, have contributed monies and their energies. You can see they are fixing the road that's leading to the healthcare facility and also to the school. How does that make work easier for you?
I mean, considering the pregnant women, yes, those in labor, bringing them from their homes to the facility and then them constructing the road for us, I think they've done a great job.
What's the mood amongst the health workers here like?
How?
I mean, seeing the road getting done, that leads to your
very
place.
excited. We are very excited. At first, I think you wouldn't have even seen any car here. Like, there were potholes all over. But constructing the road for us, I mean, we are very excited.
We've met the community people. They are returning from communal labor, and then their chairman is here, so that we can get to talk to chairman. Chairman, please tell us your name.
My name is Sami Bosman.
Right. And what group are you chair of?
Larteh Lobby Group.
So what have you been up to?
We are trying to develop our town, our community. So that's why we have organized everybody here to make sure that I think we have seen that we are doing the road, and the road is costing us a lot of money. In fact, we have discussed with the government too is trying to come and help us. So we are waiting for the government. So we need everybody's hand on board. Yeah.
So how much have you been able to mobilize from your members towards this?
Since we started, I think we have mobilized over 400,000 Ghana cedis. Yes.
In a period of how many years?
Not years. We started this about 8 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've already contributed 400?
Yeah, about 400,000 Ghana cedis. Yeah.
Oh, that's impressive. How are you able to do your mobilization? Because this is a bit rare.
Yeah, we discussed we have 2 chiefs in the town. So we discussed with the chiefs. And we mobilize the youth. And those people outside the country, we have some people at abroad, so they've been sending us some money. So we have people who are contributing a lot.
Let's talk to more community people, this time to lawyer Ansa Asare. He's a very prominent lawyer, if you know him. He runs Moncrest and in Accra. And tell us a bit more about yourself. I know you've played
former director
role
of legal education.
Right.
Yes.
Impressive. Yeah. And this is your hometown, Larteh?
Sure, yes.
Wow. Typically, when people rise to heights they hardly return to their hometowns. Next thing you know is their funeral. That's where everyone comes and all. What is the interest you have in seeing your community develop?
Enormous interest. First of all, you see, Larteh is an ancient town. And we came to know that one of our ancient chiefs was knighted by Queen Victoria. And for a chief of Larteh to be knighted means that Larteh is already on the world map. Yeah, and as a native, I've always felt proud to give back to my community what they gave to me. We have come to realize that government alone cannot shoulder the responsibility of community development. Right. So we are trying to put our destiny into our own hands. Not only the road, if you look behind, you see a story building there. It's a university that we are building for the people of Larteh. Wow. So that we also have...
the one in the far distance?
Yes.
I'm told you are building it.
Yeah, for the people of Larteh.
Single-handedly?
Yes.
In fact, it is motivating the youth of Larteh. When you walk across the street of Larteh today, you could see the numerous number of people who are in town. Today, some of us, we are not working here, but because of their able leadership, we've traveled far away from Kede, from Accra. My able assembly member traveled from Accra to this place this morning. This should tell you how ready we are to make sure that Larteh works again.
We are very happy seeing our people coming together to make sure that our roads or our community is being developed by ourselves. We like it so much, and our appeal to other Larteh citizens that have not been able to come on board this week and the previous one, to make sure that the next time that we do this, they should be able to come, they should prepare and come and help us.
A lot of youth are always demanding something from the government because they say we are paying taxes, we're not seeing any development. Do you think that this will give the government an excuse that, oh yeah, lots of people are doing it, so you all go ahead and fix your roads?
Truly, I do not think that is an excuse for the government. However, I think that there are a lot of towns and villages that have able men who have money, who can do what Mr. Bossman and other people are doing. And so I think it's about time, since the government cannot do all at once, we start doing it bit by bit by bit. In fact, you think that you show this on TV and government sees this, it wouldn't trigger something. If they have to come and do the main road, they would have to do it because we have done our bit.
We, the leaders of this town, the chiefs, and then our chairman, Mr. Kwam Bossman, who is the managing director of Insta Ghana Limited, and a host of leaders from this town decided that we need to adopt a self-help project to beautify our city and also to make it develop to meet current trends. And that is what we are doing. We are into sanitation, we are into expansion of our basic community roads, not the major roads that government take responsibility.
These are inner roads.
Inner roads, and we are doing it. It's a complete mobilization of our people. It's a complete mobilization of resources, and we are doing it. We've also involved our MP, Nana Dokuya. We've also involved the municipal chief executive, and we are all putting our hands together, to make sure that we develop Larteh. Larteh is an ancient traditional town, and we want to take it to another level. But we welcome government assistance, particularly our roads which are in deplorable situation from Manfi to Larteh, and then from Aikuma to Larteh. And thirdly, the Larteh-Dodowa road is also, we are also praying for government to intervene so that we might have, these three roads fixed.
Now, for many traditional areas, one of the bottlenecks to development in terms of bringing together natives and residents and running communal projects is the division amongst their traditional leaders. Now, the Larteh traditional area is divided into two. Despite this, there is unity, and one of the chiefs tells us that this has helped them realize what we see today.
You see, Larteh is one, but is divided into two. You have Larteh Kubase, and you have Larteh Ahenase. The Ahenase chief is Binkum traditional, and Kubase, I Nana Utu Ajamfra, the sixth, is a Kubase Hene. So all the time, sometimes people do mention that Larteh is one. So they believe that only one king or chief is ruling Larteh. That one is not true. Larteh is divided into two. You have Ahenase and Kubase.
But even with that, I see there's unity amongst you, isn't it? And that's what is pushing works like this.
So it is, as we said, now we have do this, and now despite that, we have two kings or two chiefs. We are all together. Anything that we are doing, we do it together. Only the traditional that we have been doing separately. Maybe if we are celebrating, we are doing the Odra festival. We will celebrate ours, and they also celebrate theirs. So we are together, but we have divided the town into two equal parts. Yeah.
The state of this road used to be much worse. It has been paved by the residents of Larteh, and recent rains are eroding it slowly. But they tell us that this road connects to Dodowa, and in a few minutes you should be in Dodowa from Larteh. And when the government assists them and completes this, it will make life much more easier for commuters and residents. Reporting from Larteh in the Eastern region, I am Caleb Kuda for Citi News.
And no one quite does it like Caleb Kuda, you know. Beautiful story.
Gorgeous
really,
story.
Really beautiful story.
Yeah.
And
beautiful imagery as well.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Makes you want to visit.
I love the pictures, and shouts to Chikada.
Chikada. Yes,
Chikata. He was the cameraman on this.
No. It's brilliant work you guys did.
Thank you.
But we're also here with Mr. Bernard Amwa, engineer. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you very much.
All right. No, so let's just go back a little bit. When were you first approached about this project?
Yeah, it's about 8 months ago.
Okay.
Mine was, let me say, I happened to go to Larteh on a weekend.
Okay.
And then when I got there, a friend of mine told me there's a meeting in Accra.
Okay.
So immediately we had to drive back to Accra. When I got there were a lot of people, like the natives of Larteh.
Okay.
And then the two chiefs were also there.
Wow.
So it was a meeting to discuss what to do with the town.
But prior to that, had any meetings like this happened before? Was this the first time?
That was the first time.
8 months ago, for the first time?
Yeah.
How did all those people assemble?
Actually, I don't know. I also happened to be there.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're randomly going home, over the weekend, and you get there, and they say, there's a meeting in Accra. You know, so then you head back to Accra and you go to the meeting. And in the meeting, what transpired?
Okay, so when I got there, they were basically discussing about our routes.
Okay.
Because the routes, the inner routes, have deteriorated so much. So they were discussing about it. And then there's this lady colleague told them that I'm also an engineer, so I have some idea about what they are discussing. Then I got on board, and then they formed a committee to look at the issues and then report back to the people over there. So I got on board, and that's how come we started this.
Wow. Now, as I was watching, Caleb, I found something very interesting. The use of intensive labor as opposed to the use of equipment, right? I was interested because there are projects that I have photographed and filmed in the northern parts of Ghana especially, where it's under a project called the Labor Intensive Public Works. Okay, so where the whole community will come together and they will use material that is local, right there, right?
And lightweight equipment.
Lightweight equipment, and then they will literally compact the ground and build roads. And some of the roads, 3 years later, the roads are intact and they're still, there's no bitumen, there's nothing. It's just, but the roads are still intact. So it's a brilliant idea. In terms of cost, if you had used the traditional heavy equipment method of building, how much more do you think you would have had to raise before building the roads that you're working on?
Yeah.
Roughly, nothing specific, just roughly. How much more do you think?
With the cost, I cannot be specific.
Yes,
but before we started this labor intensive thing, and there's also, we have a lot of engineers from Larteh, so they contacted them to come up with their cost.
Okay.
And then we did some analysis. With the 300 meters we were looking at, they came up with about over 300,000. And then I also contacted some friends, engineers, and then we came up with the one for labor, which is around 130,000. So I gave it to the committee, and then they bought into the idea, and that's how come we've been able to do that.
So what's happening here is that the 300 meter leads to a health facility and then a school. So they've prioritized that, and then they've done the pre-mill seal. But there are other roads in the community that they fixed. So for example, in the Peace to Camera, the road that's going towards Dodowa, they've paved that road, and many of the inner roads, they've done all of that. So that is what comes up to the total figure of around 400,000. So it's not just what is going to the health center that they fixed, which is impressive for me, that they think about the pregnant women, they think about vulnerable people, and they decide that they should at least put some first coat and pre-mill coat towards the health facility. But then the major work that is left to be done, you saw the state of the road from the Ekropon Larteh junction all the way through Benkum to where the Presbyterian Church is, where I understand your grandfather was a priest sometimes. All right. You can tell that road is really bad. So you need to honor your grandfather and do something, do some advocacy over there. But that road really needs some fixing. And even for the Dodowa Larteh road, I mean, if you're going to get to Larteh in 5 minutes from Accra, think about it. There's a lot you can do in Larteh. When you look at the vegetative cover, there's so much we can do even in terms of tourism.
Right. Now, engineer, tell us. So I know there's a road that's going from Larteh to Aikuma. Is that different from the one he's referring to as the Dodowa road? It's a different road.
That's a different road. That's from Larteh to Dodowa through the one he's talking about. It's just about 5 minutes. 5 minutes too.
Wow.
So instead of going through Aikuma to Dodowa,
you can go straight to Dodowa. Wow.
Well, you spoke, and others also spoke about the fact that government can't do it all, and it's important for people to give back to their communities and hometown. Do you think this could be replicated across the country? Do you think it even should be? And at what point do we say, well, government, you're supposed to step up? You know, you can't exactly shirk your responsibility for what people are supposed to be getting from their tax money, but at the same time, people need to give back to their community. So do you think this is something that nationwide we could look at? I think the connection to your hometown is so strong.
I think the Larteh people have started something that is worth emulating. Because within 8 months, they've been able to raise that much. And I tell you, sometimes we don't just understand how people are able to do this. They have a platform, a WhatsApp platform. They keep adding people onto it, and then when they tell them the good story, they start contributing.
And is it, you know, nothing is too small, or are there specific, or anybody contributes?
Anybody contributes whatever you can.
That's fantastic. So you've got people from all walks of life who are part and parcel of this.
People even in the diaspora.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they've contributed a lot.
That's amazing.
So I think the only thing that's left is Kweku David's contribution, which is looking forward to.
The point is that again, Mr. Bush has not added me to the WhatsApp.
No, but if you
do that,
thank you very much. Add me to the WhatsApp group, and then you update him when my contribution drops.
All right,
update him.
I am an honorary member of that platform. When they add you, I will let the people know what your contributions are. But I think that, I mean, for the people of Larteh, what's binding them is their hometown. For many of us, we don't necessarily visit our hometowns as often.
Or feel that connected.
It's a good cue that we need to be doing that, and then also taking up some projects. And then even for those of us who are living in urban areas, there are some things that are ongoing that we can really pull resources together and fix while we wait for the government to do some of the major things. So, I mean, if you're living there all the time and the road is really bad, at least just to put it in shape a bit. Now the engineer is here, I've asked them to rent me 3 of their Larteh people. Because the road to my house, my brother,
it's serious.
It's the value of the shadow.
Is there anything else on your project list now? So you've done a bit of roads, you want to do more, but any other infrastructural projects or any other things that as natives of Larteh you want to focus on?
Yeah, I think from some of the meetings we've had, we've talked about a library for the community. Actually, there's a structure we just need to improve.
Okay.
Yeah, but for now, they want us to concentrate on the road. And then when we are done with that, then we can look at other projects
other
as
things
well.
as well. I love it. I love the fact that you're giving employment to people. Infrastructure development is also there. And just that sense of community and going back to where you came from, you know, which for a lot of, it's really lovely. I think it's inspiring.
Okay,
well.
so we should go.
We should go.
We should go.
We should go home.
I think you know something. I think it's very interesting for me, the history and to see what people are doing, coming together, saying, because it's quite an old town, like you kept saying, and we saw the former.
Yes, Director General in charge of Public Affairs.
Yes, at the police.
DCOP retired,
Kwesi Furi. I think that it's easy for, let's say, those from the Volta region to identify themselves and say, oh, you must be from the Volta region, right? Basically based on your surname, right? But there are a lot of people in Ghana that don't realize that there are certain surnames that are actually indigenous to Larteh specifically. Okay. For example, if you hear a Labi is only Larteh.
I see.
Yeah. Ofori is largely Larteh.
Right.
What are some of the other names?
Like Amwa,
Obobisa, like for example, my grandfather is Bedia Kwamwa. Then you hear Bequin. Bequin is large Ajimfra is Larteh. You know, so there are quite a number of those names. When you hear them, you know this person is from Larteh.
Look, I have to go back to Larteh. We need to go and do about there. Like we have to,
so we should go.
because there's some fufu too that I couldn't finish.
Is it a junction before
you know what I mean? I have to go back to Larteh. And you know, when the story aired on CNR, a friend of mine said she was watching with her husband, and the husband was like, he's sure that I took the lady I spoke to's number. I need to just clarify. You see, the lady gave me her number.
Oh, you didn't take it?
No. He said, oh, anytime I come to Larteh, if there's any security issue and it's not national, it's domestic, I should just call it.
Okay.
You understand? So that, but you see that it makes healthcare workers who are living there very happy. People have been posted to communities and they refuse to go because there are amenities that are not existent. If the community people, I mean, if you're living in London, you're watching us, you're living in Accra, Kumasi, Koforidua, you're watching us, and the road to your hometown is poor. Your grandmother is there. If you guys come together and you fix that road, a young healthcare worker will accept posting. Your grandmother will receive healthcare and doesn't have to be rushed to Kodebu. By the time we get here, something has happened. You see, so if teachers are posted to your village, would they like what is there? If healthcare workers, police officers, security, all that. We're not saying go and do everything, but at least some things. I mean, what I saw in Larteh, come on, I was blown away. They're even building a place for the community to meet, to be having meetings, like a community center. It's like a really proper place, not even the palace, so it's different from the palace.
Okay, so for me, or a visitor who thinks, okay, what's interesting about Larteh? Why should I visit Larteh? You talked about the fact that it's an ancient town. There's beautiful scenery that you showed us. So what's Larteh's selling point for a tourist?
Yeah, there are a lot of things. Like, there's this big shrine there.
Akonedi.
Yeah,
Akonedi.
You can visit and then learn more about it.
Okay.
No, what I saw is that the global Akonedi headquarters. There's Akonedi has branches.
Okay.
And the shrine, they pimp the shrine.
I think from history, they used to have a branch in America.
Whoa.
That's how come they
Ghana
have
Beyond
the,
Aid.
global accommodation.
That's very interesting, actually. I mean, because I would, from all I've seen, all you said today, I would love to visit. Because I'm interested now. So you could attract a lot of visitors as well, which could also bring revenue to the town. You know, especially if you've got a nice souvenir or gift shop where people could pick up something. You know, that's revenue generation.
And if you love to do those wild hunting thing or gaming, hiking or something, I think if it's something that's developed, it will be a good one to do, like boot camping.
So much potential.
Generally speaking, the entire Kwapim Ridge has so much rich potential.
You
know,
and the weather is like so good for an escape. Even a road trip is enough.
The weather there. I mean, it's one of those places that if you are building a house and you put in air conditioning, it means you don't understand
wasted money.
You've wasted your money. But you will never need it.
It's lovely.
Ever. Yeah.
Whether for
I think, and I want to make a call to government and people that take decisions regarding our taxes and everything else, that I think it's about time to do proper tax rebates for people that contribute to developing their communities.
Yeah.
I think it's an important thing because we sit here and we say that it's your responsibility. You know it's your responsibility to develop everywhere. But if people have taken the initiative to go ahead and start doing what should have been government's job, then government can only, in fairness, return the favor and say, you know what, anyone who will build a health center, anyone who will build an education facility, anybody that will build infrastructure that benefits the larger community, like roads and so on and so forth, water, boreholes, all those kind of things, automatically there are rebates that come your way. You can structure it however you want to do it, certain percentages or whatever. But I think it's important. So we will all still pay taxes, but those who contribute in such a way should be given proper rebates where they actually pay less than they should because of their contribution to such things. And I think that if we do that, it will encourage people to say, you know what, I have this windfall that's coming. Let me invest in this place or in this thing, so that at the end of the year, I also get some rebates on my tax.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So, Larteh to the world.
Larteh to the world,
I'm
Charlie.
going back to
Larteh's on the map. When are you going
You're
back?
welcome.
I want to be sure Kweku David returns from his trip.
Before you go back.
I will take him there because I suspect he
so you're waiting for me. Don't worry,
we will use your fuel.
Okay.
You are the indigene here.
No, we'll go.
Yeah.
We'll go. That'll be my contribution.
The money to Moscow. The money was yours.
I want to say a big thank you to you, Engineer William Amwa, Bernard William Amwa, and then also to Caleb for such a fantastic
And then the
report.
chairman of the
shining the
association.
light.
Yeah.
Chairman.
Yeah.
I think when we shine the light, it's not only bad things that are exposed, but also there are good things that are happening
Very
that we
good
should bring
things.
to light.
Very good
this is a
things.
really good one as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Would you like to say something to anyone who's from Larteh, who's maybe watching?
Say
let them know
something.
how
Say something.
I just want to tell them that they should try and then come on board.
Okay.
I think this is a good thing, giving back to your society.
True.
Yeah, some of us were born and bred there. We attended school there.
Wow.
So it's good we go back and then help to develop the community. So I'm appealing to any Larteh person within the world who is watching us. Okay. Me jamen me hu ena enumode. Me krone. Ete liye siboleta incubate sibo mamonti. Ene ne pe benene dete nene bete wo boa no mo ayu sifte.
Thank you.
Kebene oken omba wonya fokuko sende.
Thank you.
Efu kusenso beloyo. Wonya wasumdwe so.
That's right.
Kusenso beloyo.
And the part where it says that yebeko ye nimuno. I like that part. Yeah.
You know they say it's company. They say it's not talking about. But Chairman Sami Bosman, he's the chairman of the Larteh Road Lobby Group.
He's done well.
Sami Bosman.
I think the whole thing started with him.
With him.
And the first meeting I talked about was held at his hotel in Joe.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, I want to say a big thank you to Sami Bosman and the entire group that lobbied and make this thing happen. And let this be a good example for different communities. No pressure, but when you see it, you can say, look, we can all do something to help our nation.
Exactly.
And then to money.
And then to Omani. Man like Omani.
No, Omani, dear, when we finish the show, I'm going to ask him some questions.
You're going to ask him why you have not been going to...
why I have not been added to the WhatsApp group. I know here.
Okay.
We'll take a quick break.
Just take your donation along.
We'll be right back.